It is World Baseball Classic time. We need to talk about the players to watch, storylines developing around each team, and who's going to win it all. Welcome back to Beyond the Arc with Brandon Silvers. As always, I am your host, Brandon Silvers, and I make it a point not to talk about baseball without this man, if at all possible. Thank you for joining me, Brett Gosnell. Brett, how's it going?
Good, man. Thanks for having me. This is very, very exciting.
Yes, and I like that we are both rocking our Dodgers gear as well.
Sir.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's just get into it. First of all, a little bit of the history of the event, because internationally, when I was little, the big format was obviously the Olympics. Not that much cachet, I think is the term I'm looking for. But this is really turned into quite the event. So what can you tell us about how the event started, where we've been in the past, and why you think that it's taken off more than Olympic baseball, which I don't even think is a thing anymore, is it?
No, they didn't play it the last time. So, World Baseball Classic started in 2006. So in our lifetimes, we've seen this thing start and grow. I was hooked on it from the beginning personally. I remember the first one was Japan versus Cuba. Japan won. I loved it. I watched a ton of it. The USA did not care about that at all. We didn't send anybody good. Japan cared about it from the get-go. Cuba cares about anything internationally with baseball, so they were into it. But yeah, you think of the other big international events, like World Cup is obviously the first thing that comes to mind, and it's a World Cup year. That started in the 30s. So we have not seen that thing grow any. It's just always been massive to us. So this is something that we've seen it. We've known a world without it. We saw it come about, and we've saw people not care about it. Every year it seems to get bigger and bigger, and now it's just massive.
Yeah. Because what I think about internationally is Olympic basketball and how on the men's side in particular, that's kind of gone up and down in terms of the players caring, really.
Yeah. And
you mentioned with the U.S., we didn't really care about it initially. What has changed to where now it seems like the U.S. is really bought into the format, and I'm hoping Team USA men's basketball can take some notes here so that the French don't hit us over the head with baguettes or whatever they have.
Yeah. So they actually play a World Cup of baseball too. I mean, who didn't even know that. But there's such an arrogance, I think, with the U.S. in baseball, because this is our sport. I guess basketball's the same thing. We don't even feel the need to compete, I think, on an international stage, because we just assume we're the best, and that's not an unfair assumption. But I can't put my finger on what thing happened to make us start caring as much, because we won it in 2017 with a good but not amazing roster. So it's not like we've never won it. I guess the last time, 2023, we made it to the final. We had a good roster, didn't bring nearly enough starting pitching or pitching at all. We had Merrill Kelly out there going for the championship game, I think. And I don't know, I think maybe that was such a big game because Japan, Shohei Ohtani, Yamamoto, Roki Sasaki, they were all involved in the semifinal game and the final, so it was huge. We lost in the final. Ohtani struck out Mike Trout, so I think it was a huge event that the world was watching, and we lost. So I think that kind of everybody saw how cool it was. Even I was obviously pulling for the U.S., but it was so cool to watch Ohtani strike out his at the time teammate Mike Trout to win the thing. The game, Japan versus Mexico, to make it to the finals, one of the best baseball games I've ever watched. I mean, that was a back and forth, just wonderful baseball. So it was such a cool event, and we lost it. So, we're all invested, and we lost. So it's like, okay, we see how cool it is. Now we got to win it. So I think that's kind of maybe the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of now everybody wants to play in it. I mean, every U.S. player wants to be involved now.
That is uniquely American because that's been when the NBA players care about the Olympics is after
Yeah,
a loss.
yeah,
So do not embarrass us internationally, or we will start to care, and you don't want
yes.
that. All right,
That's
looking.
in Japan versus U.S. history. The when World War II started, Japanese general said, "We've just woken a sleeping giant,"
And look
and
how that turned
maybe
out.
that's what maybe that's what's happened here.
Pearl Harbor, Josh Hartnett, great movie.
Yeah,
So, and that was all that happened. Nothing tragic at all happened as a result. So, speaking of war, let's just jump into the present and start with Pool A, featuring Canada, Colombia, Cuba, Panama, and Puerto Rico. The Canadians, who we have just beaten in both men's and women's hockey, much to their dismay. And I have to mention, our Dodgers also beat them in the World
yep,
Series. And just a
yep.
devastating time to be a Canadian. So, what stands out to you about this roster? I will pull it up and share my screen.
All right. So yeah, just to get started, every team has something cool about it. And that's what it was so much fun researching this because everybody's got some story or some good player to watch. I mean, all 20 teams are there's something interesting about. So Canada, they are actually quite good. I've spoiler, I guess I'm picking them to advance out of this group. They're probably the best team in the group, surprisingly. Um, they've got a good many major league players. They've definitely got some names you've heard of. Tyler O'Neill, um, and power hitting outfielder. He's hit a home run on opening day like the past. He's not good throughout the rest of the year, but opening day he always hits a home run.
You don't want to
So
see them.
maybe this is opening day. I don't know. Uh, but yeah, it's a solid team overall. I'll talk about the pitching first. They've got some good starting pitching. Cal Quantrill, you see there, he's a decent major leaguer. Jamison Tyone, he's a rock solid, very good pitcher for the Cubs. And the guy that I'm most excited to see, and that people may not know about that much, Michael Soroka. He just signed with the D-backs. He was with the Cubs. He got traded to the Cubs last year. He had some injury issues. He's not always out there, but when he's out there, he strikes out like more people than anybody. He is just untouchable. So I'm very excited to see him. So they've got enough pitching to get through the group. They've got enough major league players to get through the group. Um, should I go ahead and say my player to watch?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, the player to watch is Josh Naylor. Really, the Naylor brothers. You see Bo there. He's the
Yeah.
catcher. He's not as good, but Josh Naylor, legitimately very good hitter. Can't see it in the picture, but he is a very short, very fat person. He's very funny to see out there.
5'10", 235.
Okay. Yeah. But he can hit. Don't let the unathletic build fool you. He can hit. And he got traded to the Mariners this year. You know, they were, a couple outs away from making the World Series. Re-signed with the Mariners. He's legitimately very, very good. Otto Lopez, also the shortstop. I see him on there. I forgot about him. He's a really good player with the Marlins. So they've got plenty of major league talent, which you can't say for a lot of these teams we're going to get into. They don't have any major leaguers. This team's got a lot, and they've got a potentially dominant pitcher. So definitely picking them to come out of the group.
What's interesting to me about them is there is a lot of Canadian talent and guys you don't really think of as being from Canada because the guy growing up was obviously Larry Walker. That was the guy who came to mind, and then Gagne, Eric Gagne.
Yeah,
I
Eric
believe.
Gagne. Yep, yep.
But then you even see the coaches, Justin Morneau, Russell Martin. You've got third base coach Stubby Clapp, who I've never heard of, but now I will never forget. That's a great name. But yeah, this is a lot of guys who you don't think of it as a baseball country, obviously, but you're right. They've got a lot of names that even a casual fan would know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Larry Walker, I learned about this the other day. He didn't play baseball until he was like 17 or something. He played hockey. And then, like, once he started playing baseball, he got picked up by the Expos, like, immediately.
which is we had a lengthy discussion about this with the hand-eye coordination required to hit a baseball. Probably the only sport you could have played previously and dropped down quotes to to baseball is hockey.
Yeah.
Because you're not having someone pick up baseball in high school who was a basketball player previously. We saw greatest athlete ever, Michael Jordan. We saw him try to pick it back up, and
Yeah. And
it
he did
went
amazing
well.
to make it. Yeah, he made it to Double A.
That's
That's
incredible.
further than just about anybody ever makes it. But
Yeah, so that is a uniquely Canadian route, I would say.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, they're legit. James Paxton, I see him on there too. I forgot about him. He's legitimately pretty good. I saw a video of him getting attacked by a bald eagle. He was on the field, and somehow an eagle got on the field and attacked him.
That's why it's our bird.
Yeah,
It was like, we're going to give you a preview of the Winter Olympic hockey showdown, and we're going to Eagle, they got a good reputation because how is that not just like a vulture? Because it just looks like a vulture to me. It's not like it's just got like a white head. Because I got a bald eagle's nest in the neighborhood, and I look at it, and it is majestic, but I don't know if I would. I like other birds better than the eagle. I'm not sure what it is about the eagle
I don't
that
know.
symbolizes freedom and patriotism for America and all that. I don't know.
Well, do you know what the national bird almost was? I think what
No,
Ben Franklin either wanted it to be this bird or he convinced them for it not to be this bird and to make it the eagle. It was the turkey.
I got to say, probably picking eagle over turkey.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it can't be a bird that you eat regularly. Or
that's
like
true.
not regularly, but once a year we have a whole thing
Yeah,
about eating this bird. I don't want a bird that we're like roasting and trying
yeah,
to make succulent. So sorry, Ben. All right.
yeah.
Okay. Moving on
Real
to
quick, last
oh
thing on
yeah.
Canada. Freddie Freeman was going to play for Canada. He had to pull out just the amount of injuries he's withstood the past couple years. He's born and raised in America, but his mom, who he lost when he was a child, is Canadian, so he likes to do that as an honor to her. But they would have been legitimately dangerous if he would have jumped in there.
Yeah, man, that's tough because not being able to compete for them and the World Series,
Yeah,
very conflicted relationship for Canada with Freddie.
yeah.
All right, next up we have Colombia.
So not a lot here, to be honest. When you get the roster pulled up, we'll see. There's not many names you're going to recognize. Julio
Oh
Teheran,
yeah.
recognize that name. He doesn't play. Certainly in the I don't know what he's doing now in terms of playing, but he's not in the majors as of the last few years. Gio Urshela, Donovan Solano, those are two major leaguers. Um, but yeah, that's about it. They don't have much at all. The player to watch for them is Jose Quintana. He he was a he's a old veteran left-handed soft tossing smart kind of pitcher. If you're into that, he'll be fun to watch. Very clever. Pitch this year for the Brewers was solid. Dodgers hit him pretty well in the playoffs there. he's signed with the Rockies, so he's getting prepared to be the best pitcher on a shitty team here by playing for Columbia.
Congratulations to him.
Yeah,
I think Alfaro,
yeah,
he's a big leaguer. He's not like a
yeah. Elias Diaz is too, but there's no stars. I mean, Quintana's definitely the biggest name. Gio Urshela, I don't even know what he's doing now. He was with the Yankees for a while. Um, yeah, I mean, they don't have a lot.
so probably not going to make it out the group is what
No,
you're saying. Okay.
no,
Should we waste any more time on them respectfully to the people of Colombia?
I don't think so.
Okay. Perfect. Moving on. Cuba, who you mentioned, really enjoys this.
Yep.
What do we have to expect from them? And it's tricky with them, too, because I know they have a lot of players who can't compete for them because they've defected.
Well, so that whole thing is so interesting, and that's the main talking point. So it used to be that if you defected, you were no longer, they wouldn't let you play anymore. You're a traitor, you're done. And they were still good because they've just got such a wealth of talent that they're producing. So they could still compete in these kind of things, even while constantly just losing their best players to defections. And it's actually these international tournaments like this where they defect because that's their chance to travel somewhere and play. Then they just sneak off. So that's like the main route that they defect. Puig, Yasiel Puig for the Dodgers, he took the whole
Much harder
treacherous.
route.
Yeah, he took the Mexican cartel paying off. He took the horrible route. Most of the time, they're just at an international tournament and they just find a way to sneak out of their hotel. But in the last World Baseball Classic, 2023, Cuba softened their stance and they said, if you defected, as long as you haven't like criticized the country or done anything like that, you can still play. So they actually had a really good roster. I mean, they always have a good roster, but they had an even better roster because they had Luis Robert, Yohan Moncada. They had players like that last time that were defectors, but were still playing. Now we're back to like a middle ground where Yohan Moncada, who is our player to watch here, one of our players to watch, he is a major leaguer. He's going to play, but I think that's it. I don't think there's any other major leaguers. Luis Robert is not playing. He made a comment like, until they allow all defectors to play, I'm not going to play.
Huh.
So it's kind of so they're in a weird middle ground now.
So did they soften their stance, I'm guessing, to increase their talent pool?
I guess, and I don't know, maybe it got to a point where so many of them had defected. It's like I don't know, but apparently now, the U.S. relations with Cuba have went back to shit. So I think that's had a lot to do with why they've hardened their stance again, the Cuban Baseball Federation. So I don't know, but that's where we're at now. We've got one major leaguer, Yohan Moncada, and to be honest, he's not very good. He is. At one time, he was one of the very top prospects in baseball. I think he might have been the number one prospect in baseball. He's still in his early 30s, so he's still young, but he's just never produced at the level that you would have expected.
Yeah, had one year with the White Sox. 2019, he had 25 homers, hit 315. Other than that, yeah, not a lot.
Yeah.
It's funny that, assuming it's to increase their talent pool, obviously the big talk for the past decade is keeping politics out of sports. But it's very funny, like, what governments will set aside politics to accomplish in sports is always amusing. Like, Cuba is obviously, they believe in their government and this, that, and the other, and they're very strict about it until, maybe we need a little more baseball talent and maybe we're not as strict. And I know there's been Castro's wherever he is, and everything. But that's interesting to me that,
Yeah.
hey, actually baseball comes first.
Yeah.
Of course, as long as you don't criticize us publicly, but you can leave when that was a huge no-no back in the day. So not a ton of big league talent, but we're assuming here a lot of talent. We'll talk about whether they can advance in a bit, or we can talk about it now. I don't know.
Well, let me mention one other player to watch because this guy is fascinating. Alfredo Despain. He's an outfielder.
God,
Another short, fat guy.
you can tell just by his face.
So he is the all-time home run leader in the World Baseball Classic. He's been playing in this thing since the beginning.
God, they don't show his picture on his actual player page. That is crazy.
5'7", over 200 pounds.
Man.
All-time home run leader in the World Baseball Classic. Never played in the majors, but he did play in Japan and won, I think, at least one Japanese MVP.
He looks like a Japan folk hero type of guy.
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
Short, fat guy who hits a bunch of home runs.
Yep. So he hasn't, from what I can tell, he hasn't done anything since like COVID. He's might still, I don't think he's played in a couple years. He hadn't played well in Japan in like many years, but he's still on this roster. He's under 40 years old. Maybe he can do something. It's going to be interesting to see him try.
Man, yeah, he is. He will be 40 this summer. I just cannot get over. This is a very unique build that he has just in his face alone.
Yes.
Whew. All right. Anything else on Cuba before we'll save the picks for at the end of the pool play other than Canada.
Okay.
Let's see. So moving on to Panama.
So I've got in my notes here, C, Colombia. It's another situation where they just don't have a lot. They've got a few. I don't even know if they have. I know they've got one major leaguer because it's my player to watch. But Logan Allen, not sure how he's Panamanian, but he's on there. And there's another pitcher, Logan Allen, for Canada too. He wasn't worth mentioning, but there's two Logan Allen pitchers in this group. One of them is playing for Panama. So he's a major leaguer, and Miguel Amaya, the player to watch, is a major leaguer. Miguel Amaya is not even the Edmundo Sosa. Johan Camargo recently was a major leaguer, but I don't think he is anymore. So they just like Colombia, they've got a few major leaguers, but not a lot. No way you can pick them to do a whole lot of damage in this group. But I will say with Miguel Amaya, he's not even the primary catcher for the Cubs. He's their backup catcher, but he still gets a lot of at-bats, and he's legitimately pretty good.
Carlos Lee, hitting coach. That's the name that stands out to me.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
El Caballo, I think they called him.
Yeah.
So, all right, we won't waste any more time on them. But, shout out to our Panamanian viewers. So moving on to Puerto Rico. This one I'm excited for. I'm excited to talk about them because I know they've got a lot of storylines surrounding them.
There's a lot of storylines. So they are the home team. This is where this group is being played in San Juan. So everything was lining up for this to be a wonderful year for Puerto Rico. They're hosting the World Baseball Classic. They love baseball there. This was supposed to be a huge event. Bad Bunny got the Super Bowl performance. I mean, everything's just looking wonderful. And then the insurance issues hit. So in order to play in this tournament, if you're a major leaguer, you have to have an insurance policy taken out on you because, the star major leaguers are getting hundreds of millions of dollars. There's just a lot of resources invested in them. So if they go and get hurt in this tournament, it's just devastating. So they have these big insurance policies taken out on. Well, the insurance company, I don't know exactly how they make the call, but if they find any chance of a player getting injured or anything wrong with them at all, they will not underwrite them. Is that the correct term?
Yeah.
So Puerto Rico, way more than anybody else, got crushed by this problem. Francisco Lindor, one of the best players in Major League Baseball, would have definitely been the best player on this team, would have been the captain. I mean, he's a leader kind of guy. He would have been massive to have. Insurance wouldn't cover him. Bad Bunny, the aforementioned, offered to pay whatever it would have cost to get him insured, and then I guess the Mets wouldn't allow that or something. But yeah, so that's just a horrible loss. Carlos Correa is another one. He kind of sucks now, but he still would have definitely been a starter. At one point, he was good. They wouldn't insure him either. Emiliano Pagan, who I think you have some familiarity with,
Yes.
he is another one who hasn't made the news, but he's another one that did not get insured. He would have been a good bullpen piece for him as well.
But there is some talent because we're seeing some names. The one that sticks out is new Dodger Edwin Diaz.
Yeah, the best closer in baseball. You know, if they can get to the ninth inning with the lead, you know they'll be set because he's the best closer in baseball. He's definitely one of the players to watch. Seth Lugo's a solid starting pitcher, but looks like he's probably their best starter, and that's not a great spot to be in when he's your best, but he's okay. But yeah, they've still got major leaguers at basically every position. Maldonado, Vasquez there. Nolan Arenado won. He won the. Pretty sure he was on the U.S. team. I know. Yeah, he was on the U.S. team that won it in 2017. So now he's playing for Puerto Rico.
Huh.
Yeah. He's one of the best third basemen ever to play, but he's, you know, kind of a shell of what he used to be, but still a good option to have as your third baseman. Another player to watch, former Gamecock Carlos Cortez in the outfield. He's not made any kind of impact at the major league level yet, but you know, he was a solid college player. I'm thrilled to watch him play just as a Gamecock.
Let's see. Sandy Alomar Jr. as a first base coach, Joey Cora, Edgar Martinez, Juan Gonzalez, Alex. Okay, this is
Yadier Molina's the head coach.
Yachty, the head coach.
Some of these teams, the story is the coaching staff.
Yeah, this is what I want to see. Man.
There's one later. I don't know if you know about it yet, but it's going to knock your socks off when you see who's coaching what team.
I'm very excited. No, this is a good roster here. I'm excited. I'm sorry Bad Bunny could not get it done. The other insurance story is the Miguel Rojas Venezuela one, where he was too old to be insured, from what I read. They would not cover him because he was too old. So
interesting. Huh.
He will be in LA instead. But no, this is a good roster. We are at the end of this group. So now it is time to switch screens again, if technology will help, and make our picks. We already have Canada advancing. This already has Puerto Rico in the one spot. Is that accurate to you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're probably not a threat to win the whole thing given all the insurance issues, but they've still got enough talent, and being the home team, that has to be the pick to advance. That would be brutal not to advance out of your home stadium there.
Perfect. So we have got Puerto Rico and Canada. I don't know why these other teams are pre-selected. So you're not getting spoiled. Don't worry.
That one's not correct. The one they've got in the next group. I can go ahead and tell you.
All right. Well, that will do it, I believe. Yeah, thank y'all for joining us. Thank you for watching, listening, rating, subscribing, reviewing, and sharing. Watch this. Subscribe over at theshownotes.beehive.com to get my weekly sports watch guide, and I'll just let you know when the games are and where you can find them. You're welcome. And yeah, I will catch you later.